So the dulcet tones of the old Commodore Conner theme tune delving into the background there as we welcome you to a gameplay video. Now, those of you who recently seen a video I did a couple of weeks ago detailing the fact that I'd found a load of Gameboy cartridges that I thought were consigned to the annals of history. However, I have found them, and as a celebration of that fact, I thought I'd do some gameplay footage. So we dug out not only those Game Boy cartridges and dusted them off, we've also dug out the Super Nintendo and dusted that off, and we're now using the Super Game Boy, which has also required a dusting off. It's more dusting than we care to imagine. However, I thought, seeing as it's almost impossible, one, to actually put proper gameplay footage from the Game Boy directly onto the computer, and two, the fact that my eyesight is not as good now, that the Super Game Boy is there for a particular reason, and that is why I'm able to do this. So today we present to you Double Dragon on the Game Boy. Excuse me. Now, the history behind Double Dragon for you and my experiences with it. I never actually played the arcade original. Can you believe that? No, you can't. If you watch this regularly, that will come as no surprise to anybody. But yes, so my first experience of Double Dragon was actually playing it on the Amiga. And there were some ropey old conversions back in the day on the old 8-bit and 16-bit micros. I don't think there was any particularly good version of Double Dragon that came out on those. However, when we look at something like the Master System version, which is a rather excellent conversion, it has to be said, that's certainly the one to go to for that. Now, I played the Amiga version. Yes, like I said, terrible conversion, and I was able to get through it in pretty much one sitting. So that was something, but I did enjoy playing it. I kept going through it over and over again, just kept playing it even though it was really terrible. I've also played since the arcade original, using the MAME emulator, and also I've actually got it on the Super Retrocade as well, which I showed off last year, I think it was, and put some gameplay footage on there. Now, in terms of my experiences with this particular version of Double Dragon, I did quite enjoy this a lot when I first got it, and it was probably amongst the cartridges that I thought I'd lost, one of the actual ones I wanted to get back, because I quite enjoyed it. And as you can see, this is me playing this particular first level. Now, you may not be able to hear much of the music. I've turned it down. It's a bit twee and a bit Game Boy-ish and a bit disappointing. The sound effects aren't up to much, but on the Game Boy, it's on the actual Game Boy screen, it's pretty good. Now, obviously, we're playing this on the Super Game Boy, which gives it a little bit of enhancement, so turns everything red. And this is actually a rather damn fine little conversion. And I say that because with my limited game playing experience and well, lack of game playing experience, well, lack of any game playing skills whatsoever, it's one of those games where you are able to get reasonably well into it before you start making stupid mistakes. The one being here, which is the jump function, which is absolutely, in all fairness, appalling, that you have to press on the cursor key. Is it a cursor? On the D-pad, that's it. On the D-pad you have to press sort of up and diagonal left or right depending on which way you're facing, which is fine, but you eventually sort of have to come to a point where you have to do some jumping, and we'll see that once we get past this end of level boss. This is the end of the first mission, as it were, and there is a little bit of a tactic to beating is it Bobo or Bobon or somebody like that, I can't remember. There is a little bit of a tactic to get sort of quite close, which I failed miserably at doing there. It's always the way into it. I had a perfect run on the first level a couple of tries ago before I filmed this, and that's it. We get quite close in, and once you get too close for him to be able to hit you, then you just keep sort of plugging away, and it takes him about 4 or 5 rotations to knock him over and finish him off. So it's not particularly difficult, which I think would probably describe this game, to be honest, unless you don't get double teamed too much. You don't see more than 2 enemies on screen at once. It's not like somewhere they completely overload you. this particular kicking move is probably the one that takes the most energy off. You've also got the punching one, which is a series of punches, and you can also do the throw as well, which you've seen a few times here. This is me just trying to work out how to do the jump, because we're going to need that very shortly. So we're going to go up the ladder on this one, and yep, and then kick him off the end. There we go. Climb up there, activates the door, brings out these two ladies who will make quick work of me, I'm pretty sure. There we go, throw one over the edge. But yeah, it's a fine little conversion, this one, and you would go an awful lot worse than trying to find a better version. So the Master System version is a really good one. Now, I've now mastered the jump function, he says, falling off. And that's what happens, you see. If you can't get it right, you end up falling over, and I think frustration generally kicks in after that. Now, there were a couple of the Double Dragon games after this, Double Dragon 2, which was a much better conversion on the home systems. Again, I don't think I played much of Double Dragon 2 at all. In fact, I think I was probably put off by the first one. I did play it briefly on the Amstrad on an emulator, but it was so slow. But then again, you expect that. And then there was Double Dragon 3, and there was Super Double Dragon, which I also played off emulator on the Super Nintendo as well. I know there's been a further version. In fact, I've got Double Dragon 3, which, if memory serves me correctly, was it called the Rosetta or Rosetta Stone or something like that? I had that. I'm going to fall off again, aren't I? I'll go back, we'll try and do it again. There we go, that's how you do it. Once you do it, it's fine. You know exactly what you're doing. And I got the Rosetta Stone on the C64 with Rodland pack. So one side you got Rodland. It sells a double pack. They had the front cover of each box on either side. So you had the sort of the two sides of the box, front, top and bottom. One was with the Rodland cover, and one was with the Double Dragon cover. Don't see, it's not one you see very often. I got that at the Birmingham Gaming Market a few years back. Of course, the enemies drop various weapons. We see me with a baseball bat. There's a whip there. Yeah, take that. Yes, so I mean, in all sense and purposes, this is a very fine conversion for what it is, and I think given the standard of the Game Boy, I don't think this is too bad at all. It certainly puts a lot of those 8-bit micro conversions to shame. It really does. And I quite like it. I really quite like it. It's one of these which, like I said, it's not overly difficult. So what we're going to see here is just me sort of playing this through until I die. Which, you look at the length of the video and look how long I've talked for now and go, actually that's not much longer, is it really? But that's what it is. But yeah, where's it sort of sit? Is it better than the Master System version? I think the Master System version is still the one to beat, purely because of how good it looks. But it plays pretty well. Have I played the Atari 2600 version? No, I haven't. But I did remember seeing that when it was in Toys R Us many years ago, and I thought, Double Dragon on the 2600. But no, we avoided that one. It's pretty awful. But then you'd expect it from a machine those capabilities and those limitations. And this is the end of level boss here. I must admit, when I first played this particular level and beat this guy fairly straightforwardly, I was thinking, what's his actual superpower? Because the other guy was a big guy. But this particular end of level chap just has a tendency to go into a ball and then roll away at you. So this is the third mission. I can't even remember now the original game that I played as to whether this is actually following a true path all the way through. I could be wrong, but we won't know until I get further with it. You do get extra lives as well. I think 20,000 points is the first one, and then I'm not sure what the next one is after. I thought it might have been 40,000, but it isn't. I'm on 28,960 at the moment. But you can see what I mean about having two enemies. And there are certain games like this where you just get everybody coming at you once. I was playing Final Fight on MAME at the weekend, and that just sort of overloaded you with 5 or 6 enemies all came along at once, and you literally have very little chance. And I've got to do this quite carefully because of the time these jumps here. And you have to do the first jump to activate the enemy coming in from behind you. You can jump with a weapon in your hand. Oh, no. Oh, God, that was lucky. Oh, and then she committed suicide, so that's alright. It's infuriating because that jump is just a little bit tricky to do, and I'm not overly keen doing it, but not overly good at it either, that's the other thing. And there's somebody coming with a rock. It's the second time I've been hit by a rock in this game. Or was it a barrel first time round, I think. Anyway. You see, that's probably about as much as ganging up as they get on you there, that little period there where I just got my clock clean for a little bit. Doesn't happen all that often. But yeah, if you've played Double Dragon on the Game Boy, let me know what you think of it. If you've not played it, would you go out and get it? I'm not sure in terms of cost these days exactly what it is. I've only got the loose cartridge version, which suits me. I don't think I paid an awful lot for it many years ago. So do let me know what you think. And how do you think it looks on the old Super Game Boy? I like that screen, it's pretty good. I like it. And yeah, there'll be some more gameplay footage coming. So I'm working my way through some Game Boy stuff at the moment, so we'll have some of those titles I discovered, and they'll probably vary in terms of length. I can tell you now, I've worked my way through about half of them so far, and some of them I do go on a little bit, and some don't go on very long at all, but we'll upload those. Maybe do a couple in a video rather than just do one. But I wanted to do this one particularly because this was actually one game I really wanted to show off and enjoy. And I hope you have too. Yeah, there's more rubbish on the channel. Please feel free to go and have a look at that as it goes along. Until then, I shall leave you for the last few minutes of this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to let me know what you think, and if you do feel the need to like, comment, even subscribe, please feel free to do so. But until then, I'll speak to you again soon, and enjoy the rest of the video.